Hello, and welcome to Advanced Rehabilitation Services. My name is Maria Duran, and I am a board-certified occupational therapist. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to bandage yourself from your fingers all the way up to just below your armpit for you to be able to manage the decongestive phase of the lymphedema treatment of your arm. First, I would like to introduce to you the supplies that we're going to use for the decongestive phase of your arm. I have finger bandages already rolled. We need 2 of those. I have short stretch bandages. I have 4 rolls. They're different sizes. I'll keep talking about them as I put them on my arm. I have Artiflex, which is a synthetic padding. I already have cut a piece. I have it ready. I also have TG, which is a form of bandage, a tubular bandage to protect the skin. I have another piece. I have a piece cut already, and here is the product. And we're gonna use foam, Rocidal Soft. This will be the padding that is going to help, in some cases, break the fibrosis or the hardening of the skin in your arm. If you have an area that is problematic, this will help take care of that issue, and also helps to keep the bandages in place. Okay, so now that we have all these products laid out on the table, I forgot to mention we need tape, and I would like you to have it ready. It's best to have some pieces if this is what you prefer to use. I am going to show you how to use butterfly. Is my preferred method. Obviously, this has to be used carefully so that you do not break your skin, especially if your skin is very sensitive. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting a slit for my thumb to go through the tubular bandage. So I'm going to give it some room up on the top. Okay, my thumb is going to go through here. I'm also going to cut a little bit of the Artiflex for my thumb to go through. You can also do it by hand because this is something that rips very easily. Okay. And lastly, I am going to cut kind of like a cross at one end of the Rocidal Soft. So I'll fold it in about half like this and cut a little bit like that. And then that's where your thumb is gonna go through to hook it so that you can keep rolling it up your arm. You'll see it in a few minutes, okay? So now that I have all my products ready, I am going to start with the process. So what I would like to let you know is that it's important for you to cut your tubular bandage in a long length, okay, longer than your arm. And the reason for that is that you need to ensure that the product goes over your arm, because if it's too short, it's gonna just come back down and it's gonna be very bothersome when you wear it. So it's better to have it longer than shorter. Okay, so now that this is on, I am gonna move on to putting my Artiflex. And the Artiflex, what it does is it ensures that there is no shearing against your skin from the finger bandages. Okay, so it doesn't cause any tourniquets, which is basically cutting the circulation of your hand. And it's gonna keep it nice and in place. So I've done that to protect my hand, protect my thumb. All right, so now we're gonna start with the fingers. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna anchor it at your wrist. And the beauty of it is that this material kind of like keeps it in place. You see, I'm able to pull it a little bit, keeps the bandage in place, the finger bandage. And now You're gonna fold that little extra of the tubular bandage and you can start on your finger. So the way I like to do it is I like to go high on the finger just below the nail bed, as you can see. And then you go overlapping about 50% of the tubular band, the finger bandage onto your finger. I'm not pulling it. I'm ensuring that it sits snug but comfortably on the finger. Now that I've done that finger, I am going to go around the hand and on the wrist and through the back, and I'm gonna go into the next finger. Make sure your fingers are nice and spread so you can have a chance to roll your finger bandage between your fingers. So if they're too close, you will not be able to do that, right? It will be difficult. So again, I'm gonna go just below the nail and I'm gonna bandage myself slowly. That one kind of like slide a little bit, bring it up a little bit again. I'm using my other finger to help it stay in place because I'm having a little bit of trouble keeping it where it's supposed to be. I roll it up and go slowly. Oops, that happens. And you just keep going. And you go like this, nice and slow, not pulling it, not making it too tight. And then again, you end up in the back of your hand. You go around your wrist, up the wrist, onto the next finger. And again, I'm using my neighboring finger to hold it in place. I can use my index finger as well. And here I go, just below the nail. This one is a little bit higher. I'll put it a little bit below the nail here. There it is. And I just go around and around. Now, knowing that you don't have a lot left, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it around your wrist and you can just anchor it onto one of the other fingers. If you know, especially if you see that there is like a space, like a skin is showing, you may want to put it there and then you just lay it there. Now we're gonna go on to the next one. I have another roll. So with this other roll, what I'm gonna do is whatever it was left over from the first roll, I am gonna tuck it somewhere here, not tightly, but just neatly, okay? And I'm gonna start with the next roll. So with the next roll, I'm gonna help myself by putting it against my chest. And again, I anchor it at the wrist. I bring it around and I'm gonna start at my finger here. Oh, there is a little bit of a lint there. And here I am. I'm helping myself with my thumb, as you can see, to hold it in place just below the nail, and I go slowly around and around, overlapping about 50%, okay, between turns. Here we go, push this a little bit. My thumb is gonna hold it and go around, making sure that there is good coating, good coverage. Once I finish there, I go through the back of my hand, around my wrist, and come back up to cover the thumb. Okay, now here with the thumb, just below the nail as well. And go around. Good. And then through the back of my hand again. And when I come back, I'm gonna look for the areas that are showing the skin. For example, my thumb is showing here. I'm gonna cover it so it's protected and it stays inside the bandaging, I have some skin showing in between my index and my middle finger. So I'll go around that area, and always you go back through here. I have more here in between my ring finger, my middle finger, and again, my index finger. So you see I'm covering all those areas and my skin is not showing anymore. Perfect. So this is my hand bandaging, okay? Now the next thing we're gonna do is you make sure you keep this nice and snug and pull all the way up to prevent any skin from being pinched. I'm gonna use my Rocidol. So with the Rocidol, I already have my little hole here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my thumb right through like this, and then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna roll it around, making sure I keep good padding contact against my skin, my hand. Okay, I'm using my fingers to help myself as well. So if you have a problem area in your hand, you will need to work with your certified lymphedema therapist to find the best extra padding that you might need to target those problem areas. If there is a lot of swelling, I have some clients that do have a lot of swelling either in their hand or their elbow. Sometimes it's the arm area or the forearm area. So extra padding or a different type of padding might be necessary, okay? And those are commercially available. So I'm overlapping about 50%, and I'm going around and around. At the elbow, you want to make sure that you cross the crease with the material in there, and you bend a little bit, okay? You don't want the material to end up like this, okay? Or to end up in a different direction, okay? So you're gonna go here, bend a little bit, and keep going. And you want your roll to be rolling towards the outside of your arm, the way that I'm doing it, because if you do it towards the inside, it might be difficult to reach, especially if your arm is really big, is really swollen. It's gonna be difficult. So you want it in this direction that I'm going, and you're gonna keep it as high as you possibly can. And now here is where I like to use my butterfly. So making sure that I do not put it on the skin, but rather on the foam itself to secure it, okay? That's where I like to put my butterfly. Do not put it in on your skin, because this can cause your skin to break, and if you have a lot of fluid, the fluid is gonna leak, you're gonna have an open wound, and that's gonna cause for you to have a higher risk for infections, and we do not want those, okay? All right, so now that my arm has the foam in place, we're gonna start using the short stretch bandages. And here I have a 6 centimeter wide by 5 meter length. All of them are 5 meter length. It's just that the width is different. This is a 6 centimeter. So again, we anchor it at the wrist. Okay. And the way this goes is you spread your fingers and then you give it a little tug, okay? Do not pull hard on it. You don't need to do that. So a little tug, and then you go here like this. And if it's sitting at your thumb, you want to fold it so it doesn't dig into your thumb, okay? And then you're gonna go across your hand like this. You're gonna go another time here across your hand with your fingers just spread out. And now you're gonna go like an X. Goes around your wrist, up your wrist, a little fold there. You can use your thumb to help you with the folding. and you have your X. You see that X there? Perfect. And now that you have the X, now you're gonna go across your fingers, okay? Your knuckles. You wanna make sure that your knuckles are covered, you see? Even when I'm bending, my knuckles are covered, okay? And you're gonna go back into the front of your hand. You can fold it there so it doesn't dig into your thumb. And now you're gonna go down around your wrist, and you're gonna come back up and make that X again. Okay, so now what I'm gonna be doing is I am going to be targeting those areas that are not covered, such as around my thumb. Okay, making sure I have good coating, good coverage. Let me just hold these with my chest and then just fold it here so we don't have the material digging onto my skin. I may have to roll it up a little bit, and there we go, folding it, and here it is. I'm gonna fold it again, providing that good coverage so everything is evenly compressed. And now that I have a little bit left, what I'm gonna do is I am going to just go around my wrist, and for that I have another butterfly just to keep it in place for now. Now we're gonna use another short stretch bandage, and this one is 10 by 5, so 10 centimeter by 5 meter long. So the butterfly is here. What I'm gonna do is I am going to first anchor the bandage. I'm gonna remove the butterfly because again I don't want to leave that under any of the bandages. I'll anchor it around my wrist. And then let me just fix this. Got a little bit of a escape there. Here we go. There it is. And now I am going to go up the arm in kind of like a diagonal form. So it's not going to be straight. It's going to be a little bit slanted. Okay. And so I'm going up the arm. And I'm going slowly, and again I'm crossing the elbow. I'm not pulling so tight because I don't want it that tight either. I'm reaching the arm, and remember that here I have another butterfly, so what I'll do is I'll remove it just like that. And I'll keep rolling my short stretch bandage. Let me pull this higher so I can see where my foam ends. Here you may not be able to do 50% overlap because you're at your very end, and then you're just gonna bring it down again with no stretch, zero tension, because at this point you just have the extra. Okay, and you may want to keep it like this by crossing your elbow here. Let me just make sure I fix it. Here we go. I'm gonna lean on the bed and I'm gonna use my butterfly. So as you can see, you can use your chest, you can use your belly, you can use your bed, you can use different types of objects and even your own body to ensure that these bandages are staying where they are supposed to. Okay, I'm going to show you that you can also use tape instead of the butterfly if you don't feel comfortable using the butterfly. So if I was to end here, what I will do is I will put these against my body like this and hold it with my elbow as well, and then just put a piece of this. This is masking tape. I like to use masking tape. I find it to be pretty good with sticking on the bandages. All right, so the next one, oh, and by the way, when you're using tape, you don't need to take it off every time that you're putting another layer. Okay, you can leave it there because it's not gonna hurt any part of your skin or anything. The next layer is called a herringbone or figure of 8. So it's gonna start, and this one is at 12 centimeter by 5 meter. Again, it all depends on how big or how small your arm is. You might need the smaller bandages if your arm is smaller. If it's much bigger, you might need more of these wider bandages. You always have to consult and talk to your certified lymphedema therapist as to how to approach it best. So the next thing we're gonna do is the herringbone. So we're gonna put it here like this on a slanted kind of way, and it goes up and around my forearm, and then it goes down. So now I have formed an X. I'm gonna bring it around, and I'm gonna go up again and around and down. Now I have 2 X's, and so on. So I'm gonna continue doing this until I go all the way up to my arm, all the way up to the top of my arm. You can fix this, as you can see, just like this. I go around. Here we go. And I pull it up a little bit. I can use my hand to help me with this. And up. Okay. And up here. I'm gonna roll it so I can have a little more control. And I go about here and down. I'm fixing it. Here we go. And I go around and I go up again. Around and down. So I have a herringbone. You see these X's here. I'm here helping myself with my other body parts, and I'll put my butterfly in place. Okay. So now we're gonna come to our last bandage. However, before we do that, I would like to cut a couple of pieces of the tape. I'm gonna lay them here so they are ready for me for when I need them. I'm gonna need about 4 of them. They don't have to be super long pieces either, but not too small that you cannot cover the area that you need to cover. Okay. All right, I have a little bit of a, there we go. Trim that out. Looks good. Perfect. So with the last bandage, what you're gonna do is you're gonna basically bandage your hand all the way up to your arm. It's gonna provide like a protective layer. So what I'll do is I'll tuck this in. There is a little bit of escape there, and I'm sorry, it's gonna be from the wrist, not from your hand, from the wrist to your arm or near your armpit. There we go. And what this is gonna do is keep everything together in place. Which is almost like having a sleeve coverage. And here is my butterfly, which I'm gonna take off. Put it there. Here we go. And again, I'm not pulling tightly, just enough to make it roll and for the wrinkles not to form. And that happens, it gets undone. I'll have to make sure that my sleeve part, the tubular cotton is all the way up. And I have reached my arm part. Make sure everything is covered. And I'll just go here. I am going to use my butterfly again, just to keep the bandage in place carefully. And I'm going to start using my pieces of tape. I like to put one at the top, one at the bottom. Then I remove the butterfly and I can put the other pieces in between. Yes, you're going to run through some little bit of difficulties here if they get stuck together, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You use your fingers here, seal all of this. And that's it. Now whatever you have left over up here, you can fold it over. Next time you will know approximately how long you need it. Some people like to do this, kind of like a double folding, and that's perfectly fine because you can hide below your sleeve. Some people tuck it in so you can go hiding. And now that you're ready with your bandages, you can do your exercises. One thing I like to mention is that whenever you are bandaged, you do not need to keep your arm elevated when you go to sleep. That's one of the most common questions I get from my clients. They ask me, Maria, now that I'm bandaged, should I still sleep with my arm up? I prop it on pillows or prop it on a trough? And my answer is no, because the bandage is already providing the compression that you need. And so you don't need to elevate your arm. You're gonna actually cut your circulation. So it's best that you sleep comfortably the best you can with the bandages in your arm, in your hand. And again, as you can see, I'm able to move. Pretty good range of motion. Should not affect my shoulder, right? My elbow is pretty good, moves pretty good. And my fingers, my wrist as well, okay? So it forms like a soft cast. You should still be able to move, and this is how you should be doing your exercises with your compression, because it's going to help move the fluid out of the affected areas, and it's going to help you decongest the arm, and so that eventually you are able to fit into custom gradient compression garments, the flat knit garments, that will be your permanent garments to manage your lymphedema. I hope you found this video informative, and this is how you bandage your arm for the decongestive phase of lymphedema therapy. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I look forward to working with you on your path to better health.